All right, let's get cracking here. What's going on, everybody? Robert Phoenix broadcasting to you live beneath the wonderful, wonderful tree, our friend, the ally, the tree of knowledge, the tree of life, right here. Let's just bring it into all of its splendor and glory. It's great. This is my co-host. What a great co-host, right? Fantastic. It's always here. Always here. And it's always on time, even though I'm not. So what's happening? Craig Corporon in the house. T. Jordan, Mark Matheny. Mark, we got to catch up one of these days. We got to catch up one of these days. I'm going to talk a little bit about the NFL today, by the way, Mark. Not in very, how shall we say this, glowing terms. In fact, the complete opposite. Lisa Marie, what's going on, Lisa? Megan, I hope you're staying safe, of sound mind and body in the wild streets of New York City, if that's where you are at this point in time. Ian Barber is here. Good to see you, Ian. J&P Love. I was just saying Robert should be on. Let me check YouTube. And here I am. I'm trying my best to be on time, right? That's my New Year's resolution. Be on time. Bring time. Bring my New Year's resolution now. Folding time, right? I'm bringing time into the present, the future into the present. That is my current alchemy, bringing future into the present. So by practicing my New Year's resolution now, right, I'm accelerating the events of the future. Think about that for a moment. PB's here. Nice to see you, PB. FUP77. Ryan, man, what a story. What a story. Ryan, let me, can I share a bit of your story? Can you just say yes in chat? Would that be okay? Crazy story, really crazy story, but a good one. Let me know if I can. I'd like to share that. Ryan sent me a very cool email yesterday. Let's see. Who else do we have? You are. Well, Megan, you take care of yourself, all right? Danica Rose. Hi, Danica. Frank Bry. Mark, I can come find you on Facebook or something. I'll set up we'll do like a Facebook talkie thing, and Lord Zuckerberg can record it all. Ashanti Edwards in the house. Good to see you. Let's see. WC Ray. And Christy Tesmark. Hi, Christy. Tina. Hey, Tina. Where can we find through the Keyhole podcast episode you talked about? I linked to that show. So that, when did I talk about that? I talked about that last week. So that link is on there. I can't find. Just go back through last week's show. I actually linked to it. I am going to have Sherry Swiney on Friday's show, and she is the person who's being interviewed in the Through the Keyhole. So that's happening on Friday. We got her for 1 hour. I'm working on another guest for the second hour that would be a nice complement to an interview with Sherry and some of the techniques she's going to talk about for essentially eliminating these archonic voices in your head. You're back in Berlin. Oh, well, good. I've got some footage, some very heavy footage from Germany I'm going to be sharing today. What's going on, Steve? Good to see you. Thor by the Door is here. Anka, thank you for the video you sent me last night. I am going to play it today. It is a video that is like, it is the equivalent of you being taken into a Wim Hof masterclass and you're being immersed in a bath of pure ice water. Okay. So it's not going to be an easy video to watch, but it's an important video. Remember, what I try to do here is I try to come at this experience with as much, I hate to use the word truth. I wish there'd be a different word than truth, because right now we're living in a world where there really is no truth. There is no truth at the world level. There is no truth anymore. There's nothing in the world that validates what's true. Remember that. This is important. There's nothing in the world that validates what's true. You have to validate what is true inside your own skin and your own bones. This is where it's come to now. You cannot look around, and even Tucker Carlson, who has been somewhat of an arbiter of truth in some ways. And I will say this about Tucker, okay? I'll say this about Tucker, because people are dropping Tucker, and they're dropping Fox. Fox's ratings, with the exception of Tucker, everything on Fox has dropped below MSNBC. Think about that. They've lost half their viewership. Half of their viewership. So I'm going to say something about Tucker in support of Tucker, that when the whole Black Lives Matter thing was happening, while America was burning, while they were tearing down statues, while CEOs were getting on their fucking knees, while the cops were retreating and doing the Macarena with protesters, Tucker was the only person that actually talked about it in a way that helped people make sense, at least in that medium, in that world. And if Tucker Carlson had not been there and had not done that, I think it could have been absolutely terrible. And he did stand up. The one person who did stand up in the face of the bullying of BLM, he was the guy that was there. He was the one person who pushed back. So for that, I'm grateful, because it actually helped people get through a very, very dark time. Everything's been happening so quickly in this country and in this world that we're just on to the next thing. We're on to the next thing. It's like these events just keep cascading, and we went through something very heavy post George Floyd, very heavy, like in the days after George Floyd. I've been on this planet for 60 years now. In this body, who knows with other incarnations, but in this body, 60 years. And I was a kid in the 60s. So I saw some of the 60s stuff as a kid. It really left an impression on me as a child. Like, I would go home at night and I'd watch the Vietnam War. I'd watch the Vietnam War on TV. And they would always have newsreels of the Vietnam War on TV. And, in some ways, it was sort of like in the spirit of journalism, whatever. That was part of what was going on. But in other ways, it showed it had a very deleterious effect on the American psyche, because America was used to winning. Like we won theoretically World War I. We won theoretically World War II. The Korean War. I mean, theoretically, we won the Korean War, right? So we're like Joe Louis, right? We're undefeated. Who was undefeated? It was Rocky Marciano. And then here comes the Vietnam War, and every single night we're taking it on the chin while people are having dinner. And that was a really difficult thing to witness. Meanwhile, when that was going on, there was also the rioting and the protests and the Democratic Convention and all the stuff that was really very difficult to watch. And the media made it a point to beam this stuff into people's homes on a daily basis. And if there was a counterpoint to being able to talk about this in a cogent and rational, logical way, you usually had to go to somebody like William F. Buckley. You had to go to the conservative old guard. And most people didn't really like go there. He was a little arcane. He was on PBS, and not everybody would tune into PBS. So, but that was a crazy time, absolutely crazy time. The difference between now and then is tremendous, because the amount. So during that period, there were only really three networks. You had PBS, and you had a few random like UHF channels. That was it. And so what you were being broadcast was condensed, and the messaging was going across, all these three platforms consistently. It was a great way to control information. Now, radio was a whole different beast, but talk radio was not as prevalent nor as popular then as it is now. Talk radio really began to come of age in the 90s. Like, Rush Limbaugh is a revolutionary in talk radio. Larry King, who started to do his overnight talk show, was a revolutionary in talk radio. Don Imus. And these are the guys that transformed radio in some ways into the medium that we sort of know it as today, even though that in and of itself has become more of a YouTube medium. And YouTube is the new talk radio. So you got the messaging, but it was very concentrated and focused, right? Now you get the messaging, and it's ubiquitous. It's everywhere, and it's seeped into not just mainstream media and Fox, by the way, but also alternative media. It's very hard now to, find these pockets of nutrition, right? Informational nutrition. They're there, but it's very difficult to find now. But there's like deeper saturation because of the ubiquitous nature of it. But there are different kinds of remedies now. So, this is what we have, and they are dwindling. Anyway, getting back to Tucker, Walter Cronkite, even though Walter Cronkite was a shit and was a globalist shill, really that's what he was. I'm going to get off this corner. It's not good to be on a feng shui corner. Even though Walter Cronkite was considered to be like the grandfatherly paternal voice of American news, Walter Cronkite was not a good guy. He used to go to Bohemian Grove. I mean, he was, if I wanted to pull up some Walter Cronkite quotes and some stuff, it'd blow your mind. Mr. Grandfatherly Walter Cronkite was a member of the Council on Foreign Relations. Walter Cronkite was a high-level, quote-unquote, globalist. That's what his job was, right? So Tucker Carlson is sort of the modern equivalent of Walter Cronkite. Now, Walter Cronkite delivered the news. That's what his thing was. He delivered the news. Tucker Carlson doesn't really deliver the news, although it's about as close as you can get. Like, he doesn't report on teacher strikes or whatever, right? But he's very, very specific. Tucker's like a columnist that has a daily show. So I would give Tucker his due. During that time, he was, I think, essential, because that was a very, very, very difficult stretch. And we're in another difficult stretch now, but it's different. And it's pretty clear that Tucker has, shown himself, right? Tucker Carlson has revealed really who he is. And last night he had a guy on who was a professor, I think, if I'm not mistaken, and he was a lefty. And Tucker had him on in the past, and they were talking about how Google basically stole the election. Now, this is an interesting piece of information, because while you have Sidney Powell, who's talking about the servers and Dominion and Smartmatic and all this other stuff, right? That's what she's talking about. Tucker Carlson comes in and brings this guy in, and what he does is he essentially says that, yes, the elections were not fair, that, yes, the elections were stolen, but here's how they were stolen. It was through Google and Google's algorithms that kept people in a gunny sack, right? Like, think of a gunny sack around your head and you're trying to get out of it. That's what Google was doing. It was creating a kind of a virtual gunny sack. So people, and we take it for granted, like there are 165 people right now that are watching, a bunch of people in the chat. We take it for granted that a portion of the world sees the world the way that we do, or, puts on their coal mining hats and really goes down and tunnels into stuff to try to find out, what's beneath, right? They don't. The majority of this country don't. And the ones that do, who know that there's something wrong, or, they kind of feel it, but they don't know why something's wrong, they will go maybe a couple layers deep, and then they'll kind of sit there, right? It'll be the Tucker Carlson interpretation, and that's where they'll go. Like, he's their guide, he's their Sherpa. Because of that, they're limited. They're really limited. So what does Tucker do? He brings in this Google piece and superimposes it over the Smartmatic and the Dominion piece. And I think it's an interesting thing, because what he's saying is like, here is how the election was legitimately now stolen. Legitimately stolen. And it has to do with big tech. So I get in some ways what he's doing. He's like got his crosshairs on the entities that have been throttling information. Okay. Throttling information. I get it. At the same time, he's done a few things over the past couple of weeks, which has everybody scratching their heads and trying to figure out, who Tucker Carlson is. And when you go on the video, that Trump, by the way, pinned that video He pinned that video to his Twitter account. When you read the reactions to Tucker Carlson, they are not heartwarming, to say the least. Like, people are pissed off at Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson might, he probably has, leather hide. Okay, this guy has, taken lots of shots. And so Americans who are calling him, fucker Carlson or cucker Carlson or whatever, I mean, it's probably not going to affect him all that much. So, but I will say this, you got to give him his due, because he was there during a time when this fucking place was on fire. It was on fire. He was the one person in that world who actually kind of held the center. Let's see what we have here. Left you a howdy on Dave Hodges' video. Oh, Dave Hodges. I don't know about Dave Hodges. Okay, remember I talked about prejudice? Prejudice. I have a prejudice around people. I'm sorry, this is my thing. And the only reason I'm saying this now is because I used to be a bit of a fat fuck. You go back and you watch my videos from 2 years ago, like, I look like a fat fuck. And this is my lifestyle. I had to change my lifestyle. So I have a bit of a prejudice. Not that I'm like a person who used to smoke, and now all of a sudden everybody who smokes is just, scum. Not really like that. I mean, if you have a certain body type, whatever, it's, it's your thing, right? But I do have a prejudice in that if you're going to be dispensing information or truth, take care of your fucking body, okay? Please do not look like the Blob. And then here comes a little of my Dave Hodges bias. It's like, Dave, go on a diet. Take care of your body. And I get it. You're busy. You're doing all the shit. You're trying to, look, make time, change your diet. It's just, for me, like, that's a symbol of America. We become fat. We become complacent. We become pampered. And now guess what? Yep. Those days are over. Those days of being fat, and corpulent, and conspicuously consuming and complacent, those days are done. Done. And if you don't understand that, you haven't figured that out, you're going to get a rude awakening very, very quickly. Very quickly. So I'm sure he's got some of the stuff he has that I think is interesting is like the troop stuff, embedded troops. He had a piece on there a long time ago about these Russian soldiers that are in Denver, and that people would, overhear them. These guys weren't fat. Let me tell you, they weren't fat. They were buff. They were cut. They looked like, these clean-cut American guys, but they were busting out perfect Russian. Perfect Russian. And then they would flip back into perfect English. So he talks about some of this stuff, which I think is interesting. But sorry, Uncle. I didn't mean to like rain on your Dave Hodges parade, because the video you sent me last night is golden. I'm going to play it today. Let's see. Oh, we got somebody who's sick. Let's see what's going on here. Hello, David. Good to see you. Danny J. And also the draft terrified family. If the draft terrified families across the country, it was terror. That's a really good point, Danny J. It was terrible. You didn't know if your kid was going to get drafted, to go be sent off into this, bullshit, fucked up war, where the so-called communists were getting a toehold. Well, guess what? The communists were already here. They were already here. It was like, oh, we've got to go fight communism. We got to go stop the spread of communism. No, the communists were here. They were here. They were on the streets. They were Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn and CPUSA, and they'd been here for a while. That's where the battle was. That's where the fight was. The Vietnam War was an absolutely criminal exercise that eliminated some of our, I wouldn't call them our best young men, based on, degrees and standing. But we eliminated some of our most soulful young people. These were working class men, okay, who could not go to college, did not have a college deferment that kept them from going to the war, right? They didn't have the ability to dodge the war like JW, GW Bush, who dodged the fucking war. Right? He was part of the Texas Air Patrol or some shit like that, right? Yep. What about Bill Clinton? Nah, Bill Clinton wasn't in the war. Donald Trump? Nope, no war for Donald Trump. So we have the working class Americans of all stripes, of all colors, and the one group that it really, really damaged were the melanated males of the United States of America, right? The so-called black, the so-called African American males, and this is one of the most egregious acts was perpetrated on a community. They go in and they start to grab the black, so-called black African American males, and they ship them off to war. Okay. Now, if you look at the statistics prior to the Vietnam War, there was a higher degree of what we would call a nuclear black American family, meaning you can. And I did this. I actually brought this up on Gaia when I had my show on Gaia. I brought up the statistic, and it's like prior to the Vietnam War, the potential and the numbers of a integrated family within that community, meaning a mother and a father and children, was probably around 73%, which is like pretty good actually. 73%, maybe a little bit higher. It wasn't 100. Nobody gets 100, but around 73%. After the war, that thing drops precipitously. It's like a huge drop. What happens? Well, they're gone. They cannot, be engaged in marriage and the raising of a child. Some cases there are children that have been left behind. But guess what happens? The state comes a knock in, and this is where we have the welfare state coming in. It's all by design. Let's get these guys out of their community and let's replace them with the welfare state. Let's bring the plantation back to them. So now you've got these young women who are like, okay, well, I'm on my own. He's gone, or my prospects are gone. I may as well take this welfare. And when they come back, when a lot of these soldiers, a lot of them die, by the way, and when they come back, they're damaged goods. They're damaged goods. They're hardened. They're cynical. A lot of them come home with drug habits. Not just the black community, by the way. So a lot of soldiers they came home and they were fragged. And one of the greatest crimes, again, ever perpetrated against the American people were how those men were treated when they came back from that war. They were vilified, scum. It was terrible, terrible, absolutely terrible. So, we're entering into a phase now where I would not be surprised if when he gets, and I'm saying when, because we're very close to when, not if, gets into office, there will be wars. And there will likely be a draft, and they will take your kids and they will get them out of here. They will get them out of here, and they will wind up, they'll use that as part of their Malthusian device to eliminate as many people as possible. If you're a parent and you got a kid that's around 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, Gen Z, who are really kind of, engaged in the whole truth thing in some ways, right? They're trying to find out there. You need to be very concerned about your kids, both males and females. Now, that said, women cannot be drafted. They can't be drafted. And there were two activist lawyers who were trying to make that happen. It's like, oh, guess what? You want to draft men? Well, you may as well draft women too. And both these guys wound up getting, right? So this is a big issue we're staring down right now. We are at the precipice of something quite dark and quite dystopic. I'm going to play you some material today, some of which is not going to be happy or positive, but you need to see it. You need to understand what's afoot here. And I will play you some video that will give you a sense of what needs to take place. All right. So thanks for bringing that comment up, Danny. That was a really good comment. What do we have here? Lady Zaga, what's happening? the politics of serial killers. It's really interesting. There's this myth that, oh, it's, only so-called white people are serial killers. No, that's not true. That is not true. One of the biggest serial killers was a guy by the name of, guess what? Juan Corona. Juan Corona was a guy who lived in California, and he murdered migrant workers. He was going through migrant workers like Trump goes through, Diet Coke or Diet Pepsi, whatever he drinks. No, it's not just for one group. Not just for one group. Let's see. Chris Meyer, book your reading. Okay, Chris, I'll get back to you. My website. I'm sorry, I got to deal with my website. I'll get back to you today, I promise. Let's see. Who else do we have here? We got Malarkey. Hey, good to see you, Malarkey. My Gen Z son is saved thanks to diabetes. Don't take anything for granted. What else do we have? Michelle Taylor, a draft now is Apple to be training future militia. What else? I know someone who wound up in Alaska at the test center. They gave hardship pay for that. What else do we have? Let's see, customer queue. You guys got a little conversation going on with fats and oils. That's good. So one good thing about Chatlandia, there's always like a kind of a narrative, or there's another discussion going on at another level, and a lot of it is very useful information. You guys are you're very switched on, very, very switched on. Charles says at the VA on Friday, Biloxi, you drive through the National Cemetery, rows and rows and rows of grave markers. It's sober. Yeah, these are guys that lost their lives, and it's absolutely tragic. All right, let's get into our invocation here. Let's do this. You take the draft and you see the country erupt for sure. Yeah, let's do it. Bring it on. Let's bring this on. Okay, you guys get to hang out with the tree of knowledge there, right there. Okay. Well, let's bring this in here. All right, dear blessed and holy Mother, Father God of the great central sun, with the universal light, which is the light of Yeshua Sananda, Emmanuel, we ask only the highest and best information and truth come through this channel at this particular time. And we ask that we can all embrace the qualities and the blessings of being grounded and clear and perceptive and transmutational, that we can transform the energies of darkness, the energies of doubt, the energies of fear, the energies of anxiety, that we have the ability, the power, the gift, and the birthright to transform them into their higher vibration and their higher order, which is purpose and will and clarity, perception, and direction. We ask that any karmic residue be cleansed, purified, clarified, and removed from the stream. All right, let's get to it. Thank you. All right. Here we go. The green man is in that tree. That's one of my allies. That's one of my allies. In the Sabian symbols, my rising sign, for my Sabian symbol, my rising sign, is the king of the fairies. The king of the fairies re-enters his domain. So I am your representative of the green man. Local district 786. 786. Okay. Let's get going here. I'm going to hit you with the cold fucking Wim Hof video, okay? This was sent to me by our friend Uncle Glenn. And it's going to be information that's going to be difficult for you to digest, but it's important, okay? It's important because we cannot allow ourselves to be paralyzed by who or what should be doing the things that we should or could be and need to be doing for ourselves. Okay, let's remove the specter of hope. Hope is nostalgia for a day yet to come. Remember that. Hope is nostalgia for a day yet to come, and it never arrives. It never arrives. Faith, we have a different discussion about that. All right, so here we go. So I find this thing. Okay, so this is the first time this woman has crossed my path, but I will tell you right now that I found her energy and her perception to be on the money and quite effective. All right. Let's see. How do I get this? All right, I got to get this or to grab this URL because it's on another browser. Okay, so this is going to be and I'm not going to play the whole thing. It's a 9-minute video, but I will leave the link so that you can watch the whole thing. But there are specific dates and points here that are essential and that you have to ask these questions, right? We cannot be engaged in an informed pursuit of truth without being able to look into places that make us feel uncomfortable. It's just the way it is. All right, so let's get going here. Her name is, by the way, Diana Lenska. Remember Rula Lenska? Remember that woman? She was beautiful. All right, here we go.
This is Diana Lenska. Let there be light. March 13th, 2020. Trump signed an executive order giving FEMA total control of the United States of America for 6 months. We're divided into 10 districts under FEMA. Then to make matters worse, on April 13th, 2020, he issued the 50-state national emergency, giving all the governors of each of the states of the so-called United States of America the power to make decisions running their states according to their own rules, mandates, whatever. Why everyone is blaming the Democrats for all the things going wrong in this country? One better look at the facts, the real facts, that we are still under FEMA. Everything that's happening in this country, all the deaths, all the fires, all the businesses being closed. It's 60% now of middle-class businesses gone. We owe it all to President Trump. Don't you realize nothing that is happening in America would be happening right now if he had not sold out this country by those executive orders issuing a state of emergency?
I want to stop that right there. She's absolutely 100% right. I've been talking about this for a long time now, that there is some level of culpability here and responsibility and accountability, and it is not being talked about. And what we do, what we've seen is the double down, the triple down, the quadruple down. And here we are. Here we are. Basically, Trump has given the GSA the permission to give the keys to Joe Biden and his administration to start occupying office space and to give them $8.9 million. Okay, this thing is happening. This thing is happening. And this idea that, okay, they're laying a trap, they're setting a trap, you better put that aside for now. You have got to put that aside for now. When, act weak when you're strong. Look, if all of a sudden Sidney Powell becomes, Jehovah, Captain America, Batman, Clint Eastwood, Bruce Lee, Wonder Woman, all wrapped up in one. And since she's a military lawyer, can go through military tribunals and send these people off to Gitmo. Well, hey, I guess, let it be. Right? Let it be. But we've really narrowed the window, the potentiality, the possibility. And it's coming down to like hail fucking Mary passes at this point. Okay. And I've been talking about this for a while. There are things that could have been done a long time ago. And even 6 months after, that would have been September 13th, you could have said, okay, it's a 6-month order, it's done. But he didn't do it. He didn't do it. He did not rescind that. He did not rescind the other order, which is why these governors are acting like tyrants. And again, it's like, okay, well, we get to know who the bad apples are, the bad characters are. Okay, fine. That's great. Who else do we need to know? I think we've gotten the lesson. I think we've figured it out. I'll keep playing here.
A state of emergency over a phony C-19 hoax that he knew to be fake. He knew it was fake. He knew it wasn't real.
It's true.
And yet he sold out America. By selling out America, it also made it easy for the other nations of the world to crack down on their countries and their citizens. You remember when he was bragging about the ventilators? Remember that? Do you know how many elderly people died on those ventilators because it was the wrong treatment? The majority of people who have been put on those ventilators should have never been put on them. We owe that to Trump also. Instead of blaming the Democrats, instead of blaming anyone else, look at where it stems from. Our own president. Every death, everything that's happening in this country, everyone who has lost their business or jobs, every child that has been abused and is suffering, it's due to those emergency orders that he issued on March 13th and April 13th. Yet all of you love him. Well, at least the Trump supporters. All of you who think he's going to save you, all of you who think he's going to make America great again, when all he's been doing is destroying this country, following the agenda. Do you know that America was never created to be the America that most of you believe she is? This country was established to bring about the very events that are taking place right now, to bring about a one world government. America was sold out a long time ago, 1871. Our government needed money. They went to England, the Rothschild Bank. Part of the agreement was basically America coming back under the Crown of England without America not even realizing it, at least the Americans, the real people of this country, not the leaders. The leaders were involved with selling this nation out. Since 1871, little by little, they've been chipping away at the Constitution and every right, every God-given right given to you in the Constitution and in the Declaration of Independence. Do you know our Constitution has the 13th Amendment removed? That was part of the agreement when America was sold out to the Bank of England back in 1871. Do your research on the internet. Go online and research this. The United States of America is a corporation. We're a corporation. Everyone who served this country, every Marine, every Army personnel, everyone in any branch of the military has been betrayed. And most of you don't even realize it. I didn't up until a few years ago. I didn't realize the extent of what was going on and how this nation has been betrayed and its people and its citizens. You cannot trust anyone in power right now. Not our president, not Washington, not any elected officials, especially the governors. Most of the mayors, many of the elected officials in various states, there may be a few here and there trying to stand up to this, but they all sold out. They have all sold out to the agenda to destroy America, to make her become part of the one world government, to follow Agenda 21, Event 201, Agenda 2030. Look these up.
Okay, I'm going to stop there because I think you got the hardcore dose of what she was saying. So, you know, when Trump was running and when Trump was, and I know that there are a number of you in chat and who watch this who have thrown in behind the president, and I'm not going to disparage that at all. I'm not saying that you were foolish or anything like that, right? Because there's something, and I've said this from day one, that it wasn't about Trump at all. It was about the energy, right? It was about decoupling from, you know, the trance of consensus reality. And a lot of people have woken up, and it's important, right? A lot of people have been how do I say this? Reconnected with values that they've taken for granted, whether it's family, whether it's the right to worship. I mean, all these things that were kind of a part of our experience, right? At some level, we began to take them for granted. And now we're seeing that all those things are in jeopardy and they're in crisis. You know, again, he's played a role to get us to understand the corruption of the media, right? He's played a role to get us to understand the corruption that is endemic across all these various systems, okay? So I'm going to try to balance this thing out, that he's been playing a role. And it was really never about him, but it was about the energy and it was about the disruption. But I will say that she's absolutely right, that if he had rescinded those orders, we would not be having this conversation and some of the things that I'm about to show you that are going to be absolutely shocking. Shocking. I'm going to show you what the new America is going to look like, okay? So, you know, the alarm just went off for the third time, so you better get the fuck out of bed. Like, we're at the third alarm stage. The third alarm stage. Now, I do not have a great deal of confidence at this point around them being able to turn it around and not have Biden Harris in the office. I don't have a lot of confidence in it based on what I'm seeing. That said, there's something bigger going on here. These are the same conditions that were around in 1774, 1775, 1776, Pluto and Capricorn. There was a revolution going on. There's a revolution going on. And the new King George is Klaus Schwab. He is the new King George. Bill Gates is the new King George. Instead of just King George, now we've got the Legion of Doom. And we're on the clock. We are on the clock. And this is a very, very important time. So one of the things that I think could be really important now, remember, it's all about mindset, right? Mindset. And listen, I stayed up till about 3:30 in the morning last night working through this. This is what I do, right? I had to work through things in order to get here and be in front of this camera. Is that you have to be ready to let go. You have to be ready to let go of the idea that Trump is going to throw down all these cards and that Sidney Powell is going to just fucking take a laser beam and laser beam out all these institutions. You have to be able to let go of that. I'm telling you now. It doesn't mean that you give up hope, or it doesn't mean that you give up the faith. Hope you got to put over here. It's important for you to ground yourself in the emergent reality. If you don't do that, you are going to get hit by a fucking tsunami and you're not going to know what's hit you. Okay. So, and this is, and I've been, look, I'm not a Q person. I am not a Q person. I did not buy into the passivity of Q. I did not buy into the trust the plan. I thought it was dangerous. Anybody ever tells you, oh, just trust the plan, you better think hard about that. You better think really hard about what you're trusting, because you're giving something up. You're entering into an agreement. You're entering into an area of consent. As an incubator, I think the Q stuff was interesting and got a lot of people up to speed. But look what happens. You know, they said that Sidney Powell is the QAnon attorney, right? So now they've, in fact, Congress basically passed a bill condemning QAnon. And what happened after that? Everything related to QAnon, YouTube channels, Facebook, pages gone. See, we're not having any of that. And I'm not saying that there isn't some meat on those bones. There is. But the worst thing that QAnon brought to the table was get your popcorn and trust the plan. Trust Sessions, whatever. And look where it is now. Well, people are getting ready to stop trusting the fucking plan. So decouple this idea that all of a sudden this is going to go to the Supreme Court and Trump's going to be president. Look, if he becomes president again and somehow manages to ward off, the Legion of Doom, that's another story. And then we're going to have to deal with the ire and the fire of the left and the Democrats and CPUSA and Antifa and Klaus Schwab and the globalists and all that shit, right? We're going to have to deal with that. We deal with that, we'll deal with that. It's the way it is. It is the way it is. So decouple from that. And if Trump gets in, it's a bonus. It's a bonus. But then there's a whole other series of factors that come into play. So you decouple from that, get it over with, right? Just get it over with. Just like when the coronavirus hit, I told you guys, it's like it's not coming back. The world that we were in is over. It's done. And that was months ago. And it's like, where are we now? Oh, we're still here. In fact, it's even worse. And if you had adopted that mindset, you'd be better off now, because you would know that the stone cold reality is that we're not going to be returning to anything that resembled, the old normal. And you've had an opportunity to kind of steel yourself against this thing. You've had an opportunity to go through a psychic death, which is important. If you don't go through the psychic death, you will not go to the other side. You will not be able to get through to the other side. You must be able to absolutely shed your skin, your psychic skin in this moment. And now you're at the one thing that you really have to wrap your head around, is you have to sacrifice your relationship with these people who are in power, who are supposed to be there and represent your interests, to no longer be there. You have to do it. You got to get there. I'm telling you, it is in your best interest to get there. And if you can get there and still retain something inside of yourself that has nothing to do with anything external, that's what the whole thing is about. It's what the whole thing is about. This is what Scott Atlas is saying. If you're paying attention to Scott Atlas, says, hey, it's on you. Like, these people say things for a reason. They say things for a fucking reason. They're not saying, hey, we got your back. Don't worry, we got your back. No, he's saying it's on you. If you don't want this to happen, it's on you. You've got to do it. And you know what? Thank him. Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that. It is on you. It is on us. It is on me. This is where we are. There are no white hats. They're not going to come galloping in. We're not going to get John Wayne or Audie Murphy or Gary Cooper. They're not going to come galloping in. No, they're not. You are the white hat. Put it on. And then live your life accordingly. And then it's like, well, what do I do? I'm just one person. I don't know what to do. And I got my people, my family, and they don't like this. And they're running around and, they're blowing party favors and, drinking champagne through their noses because they got a mask on. Well, you know what? You got to make tough choices in life sometimes. It's just the way it is. You got to make tough choices in life. Trust me, I've had to make a few. So I'm going to show you. I'm going to take you to the new America. And what I'm about to show you is going to shock you. It's going to shock you to the core. Okay? By the way, Uncle Glenn, thank you for sending me that video. It's harsh. And I know a lot of you have very specific feelings, and you know what? Don't give them up. If that's going to be your lifeline, you're going to get through that, then damn it, you do it, right? You do it. And if you're out there and and you support Trump and you support MAGA and you support America, it's like, do it, get into it. But just remember who you're doing it for. You're doing it for you. You're doing it for your wife or your husband or your family or your grandkids or your great grandkids. That's who you're doing it for. You're doing it for them. Own it. Own it. MIGA, make yourself great again. MIGA. All right, I'm going to show you something. This happened in Georgia yesterday. And I got to tell you, it's one of the most disturbing things that I've seen. You better be prepared to see more of this. There's no blood. There's no animal cruelty, but it's disturbing. This was at a Costco in Georgia. This fellow was in Costco. He was wearing a mask. He has a son. The son was wearing a mask. The son has breathing problems. He had to take the mask off in Costco. If you don't fucking cancel your Costco membership right now, you're complicit in all this. I will never set foot in another fucking Costco again. I will never buy anything from Costco ever again. Because in Georgia, and I know exactly where this is, in Georgia, Cummings. It's in Cummings, Georgia. They called the cops on this guy, and watch what happens. Watch what happens.
Over a fucking mask. Fucking good old David over here. I had to take this off to breathe for a second, so what does he do? He calls the fucking cops.
Dude, I'm not.
By the way, no mask on the cops at all. This guy's fucking smiling. Look at him. He's smiling. He's enjoying this. Motherfucking psychopaths.
That's what I'm saying.
I am not.
How is he resisting?
He's tensing his arms.
No, he's not.
Dude, I don't know
I got
what
this
you
on
call.
video.
He's tensing his arm. He's tensing his arm.
But that's
man.
kind of a natural reaction when two guys are assaulting you.
Right.
Look at this.
Do you have anything on you that's going to poke you or stick me? No, I got a knife in my right pocket, a pocket knife in my pocket. Okay, very good. Anything else on you that's going to poke me or stick me? Not that I can think of. Okay.
Oh. Welcome to the new America. Have you guys seen that? What do you think of that? What do you think of that? Okay, I got to go into the void. I'll be right back. Give me a That's insane. How's it going, David? It's totally insane. It's totally insane. This gets into the Chiron and Aries model, right? Police enforcing medical fucking procedures. Medical procedures. Bullshit. Bullshit. Oh, yeah, we're all used to being handcuffed. Yeah, right. He's tensing his arms. What are you supposed to do? Just go noodle and say, oh, yeah. Would you mind putting some duct tape around my mouth as well? I can make my legs available if you want to put leggings, cast iron leggings on my ankles too. I'm just here to be abused by you. I'm not going to offer any resistance. Well, shall we give Costco a little call there? Let's give them a little call. Let's see what Costco has to say about this.
Thank you for calling Costco. Please visit the coronavirus updates page at Costco.com or on the mobile app for temporary changes, including warehouse and gas station hours, special hours for seniors, priority warehouse access for healthcare workers and first responders, social distancing policies, and more. Thank you for reviewing this page before visiting our warehouses. To reach the administrative staff, press 1 for warehouse hours. Wait while I transfer your call. Good morning, Costco. Coming. Ashley speaking. How can I help you?
Yeah, hi. Is this the administrative offices here in Costco?
It is.
Hi. Hi. So my name is Rob Venus, and I'm actually broadcasting to you live from a show called Warehouse Weekly. And we wanted to see if we could just get a few moments of your time.
Your name and number and let you talk to a manager, but I can't talk to you.
Okay, can you bring the manager on right now?
No, I can take your name and number and give it to them, and when they're available to, they can give you a call back.
You know what I'd love for, just for real quickly. Obviously, there was an event from Warehouse Weekly. We'd like to see. Look at that. She fucking hung up on me. They won't even let you talk to anybody, right? They won't even let you talk to anyone. Fucking pricks. Sorry, I'm pissed off. I hate bullies. I hate bullies. I hate liars, and I fucking hate cheap people. Well, let's see, who else do we have here on the old calling, the old call tree. Let's see what we got here. Hmm.
Good morning, Cummings City. How may I help you?
Yeah, hi. Is the city manager by any chance?
One moment.
Hello, this is Phil Higgins from the city of Cumming. I'm away from my desk or on another call. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I will call you back as soon as possible. Thank you.
Recording.
Hey, this is a message for the city manager. I'm sure you'll probably be getting a few more of these. I just want to put you on notice that most of America has seen what went down in the Costco parking lot. And it is not pretty, and it is decidedly un-American at this point. And I hope that I'm one of thousands of calls that are going to be coming in your direction. And oh, by the way, I'm actually recording this live, and it's going out over the internets. And I'm not going to give out your number, because if people want to find you, they can. But I'm sure you'll be getting a few more phone calls, because what we saw and what we witnessed at that Costco is absolutely, utterly deplorable. Absolutely deplorable. Fuckers. I'm not done. Since they're out of state, I have to identify myself. In Texas, you don't have to do it. They're conveniently not answering. Ringy dingy dingy. Yeah, the soft supportive approach, I tried to do that, but she wasn't doing anything. She wasn't going there. And these people aren't answering. This is the police department, by the way. So here you go. Welcome to the new America. You better wake up and smell the fucking napalm, all right? You got to wake up and smell the napalm. That's what's happening. It's happening right now. And these people are absolute and utter conscienceless. They're conscienceless people who are enacting these mandates that are draconian, absolutely draconian. And because we've decoupled, we are no longer the United States of America, right? The federal government cannot go in and do anything about that. Nothing. They can't do it. Can't do it. But it's not just America. It's not just this place. Home of the brave. We're going to find out how brave we are. Home of the free. We're going to find out how important that is, aren't we? Real soon. This is global. This is global. And within roughly 1 year, we have been transformed into a dystopic film, right? We are slowly marching towards children of men with vaccines on the horizon who will do who knows what. You know, wipe you out, wipe your God gene out, sterilize your kids, right? We are on the precipice of something incredibly dark. And I'm just being straight up with you here. This is a wake-up call, okay? It's a wake-up call. If you haven't figured it out now, you better get to it. And you better disabuse yourself of anybody riding in on a horse with a white fucking hat. It's going to come in and save the fucking day. It's not going to happen. And if it does, hey, guess what? You get bonus time. But even bonus time is no guarantee that it's actually going to be quality bonus time. So I'm going to play you another video. And this is from Germany. And it's an absolutely striking, and I mean a striking video. I can see on my other browser. I want you to pay attention to this. This is what's happening in Germany. Now remember, this is a populace that is not armed. They are not armed. And they're out there just on their own. You know, on their own, naked in the face of high pressure water cannons, doing their best to absolutely thwart their nonviolent protest against these absolutely draconian lockdowns. Okay, get ready for this one. It is stunning in its emotional display and content.
Diesen Bereich in Richtung Potsdamer Platz. Diese Versammlung wurde erklärt. Achtung!
We are in for the fight for the soul of our planet. You won't find that on mainstream media. You won't find it there. They're not going to play that on MSNBC or CNN or ABC or CBS or Fox. Fox, they definitely won't play it on Fox. Not going to happen. That's happening. That's happening right now. It's happening right now in Germany, in Italy, in Spain. Oh, shit. I think I'm late for my short truck. Let's do that. Okay. This is what's happening. But they're not going to show you the revolution. Remember, the real revolution will not be televised. The fake bullshit carny revolution that we saw in June, oh, of course, they'll televise that. But the real revolution will not be televised. I'm going to leave you with one more video, and then I got to go. Here's the video. Phil Murphy decided that he wanted to go have a little dinner, a little outside dinner. Well, a couple of Phil Murphy's inhabitants, I'm not even going to call them citizens. I will not call them citizens, inhabitants of the state or the corporation known as New Jersey, caught up with Phil while Phil and his family were, eating their matrix dinner of steak and potatoes and gravy. So let me play that for you guys, and then I'm out of here for the day. I gotta find it. Ah, here we go. Yes. Yes. You gotta love New Yorkers or New Jersey people. Their bluntness is one of their greatest gifts to humanity. Here we go. Did you hear that? Guess who Trump likes? He likes my dad. Watch it again. Oh, that got her attention, didn't it? That got her face out of her whatever stew shit she's eating. Look at these kids. They're so smarmy. They're so smarmy. Oh, and now he puts his mask on. Oh, look, now he's wearing his mask. Now I'm going to wear my mask. Oh, I'm going to wear my mask. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the conflict of our lives. We are in the battle for the soul of the planet. This is what's happening right now. So I wanted to leave on an image of real ire and righteous indignation. Okay? Ire and righteous indignation. You also need to know you're not in it alone. Look at what happened in Germany. Right? Let that image sear in your brain. There are people out in the streets who are freezing. They're getting hit with water cannons. And by the way, the water cannons, those things are benign. At some point, it will not be water cannons. At some point, it will be MRAPs and LRADs, and those people are going to have a real difficult time. Very difficult time. So here we go. We're in the season of Sagittarius. The South Node is there, and we get to explore the fundamental flaws of the laws that are being represented in the detrimental aspect of the South Node. Hypocrisy, lies, dishonesty, mistruths, misdirection, illusion. It's all going to bubble to the surface. The sun is going to illuminate, absolutely illuminate what's been going on. And on the 14th, it'll be a dark illumination. And we'll know where we stand by the 14th. But wherever you are now, disabuse yourself of the notion that somebody's going to ride in and lasso up and save the fucking day. Okay, be your own white hat. Figure it out. Get there. Get here now. Be here now. All right. No sound? Oh, I'm sorry. I'll play it again with the sound. I thought I had the sound. Thanks for hitting me with that. Where is it? All right, here we go. With the sound. My bad. One more time, even though I'm late. Here we go.
Come on. Oh my God, it is. Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, Murphy, how you doing? Such a dick.
You're such a
having
dick.
fun with your family. In the meantime, you're having all kind of other bullshit going on at your house.
Look at that smile. Look at that smile. He's like, look at him. Look at him. He's relishing in it. He's relishing the fact that he is such a dick. He loves it.
Going on at your house yet?
A little too drunk?
No, I'm
Oh,
not
and then this little prick comes in, a little too drunk for you.
drunk. As a matter of fact,
Put your mask on.
you can go fuck yourself. How's that? I don't need a mask on. You know why I don't need a mask? Because there ain't nothing fucking wrong with me.
I like your Trump
You're
phone case.
fucking right.
Guess who Trump likes? He likes my dad.
Yeah, no, he doesn't like your
Oh, he
phone.
does. He
Get
does.
the fuck out of here. Thank you. Let's go. Come on. Get out of here.
And now he's got his mask on. That's all you need to know.
You know what? Come on. Oh my God, it is. Hey, how you doing? Oh my God, Murphy, how you doing? Such a dick.
You're such a dick.
You're having fun with your family. In the meantime, you're having all kind of other bullshit going on at your house.
A little too drunk?
No, I'm not drunk. As a matter of fact,
Put your mask on.
you can go.
And the little prick tells her to put their mask on. Wake up, people. Wake up. If you're not awake now, you're gonna be. You're gonna be. Wake up fast. Get here, okay? Look, if somehow they pull a fucking magic card out of their ass and the Biden thing doesn't happen, well, you know what, it buys us some time and we deal with whatever happens after that. But disabuse yourself of that notion. Just get there. Just get there. Get there and just eliminate it. Take it off the fucking table and start to move from that place forward. You're going to be better off, okay? And it's like, well, if I do that, then I'm going to give up all this hope and all this positivity and everything I've invested in that. No, you invested those things for yourself, okay? Bring that energy into you. All the belief that you pushed out into the world and the hope and the faith, right? Bring it back in. That is a gift that you have bestowed upon external reality. That is a gift you bestowed upon consensus reality. Bring it home. Bring those pearls in, right? You can still have those things. Be the embodiment of those things. Do not externalize it. Do not externalize it. Bring it home. And that way, if you go out and you're going to go support the, stop the steal or, do your MAGA thing or whatever, right? You're coming from a different place. It's inside of you. It is inside of you. It is not out there. And I'm not telling you to go stop doing that. If that's what you're going to do, then let that be a force multiplier. Let it be the thing that brings you together with other people, right? It's okay. But just make a boundary that you in that moment are consenting and sharing your life force, your intention, and your energy with those people in that moment. And it is agnostic. All right. So sometimes you got to plow through the darkness. You got to plow through these dark times. And we're coming up on the solstice. And David, who's in chat today, David and I talked about this on Sunday night. If you want to get a big dose of the 21st, go back and listen to the show that we did on Sunday night. Also, I'm going to be on Jay Widener's show coming up. He emailed me today. So I'm going to be doing a thing with Jay, talking more about this, talking more about the solstice. I'm really going to do a deep dive with Jay. So hang in there. Keep the faith, right? Don't disperse your faith. It is not a commodity that you can just toss around and then have people who have very little interest in your life smash it. smash it. It's like all of a sudden you have this wonderful Rolex that falls off your wrist, and they sit and they just smash it under their boots. Oh, sorry. Like, keep it. Disperse it wisely. Distribute it with purpose. Distribute it with intention. You do that and you'll be okay. And we're here for each other, all right? Just remember that. We're here for those people in Germany. We're here for everybody that is staring down the face of this one fucking world tyranny and everything that goes along with it. All right, we're in it together now. We are really in this together. Not that other bullshit. Like, this is the real in it together. Okay, I want to thank you, Chatlandia. I want to thank all the mods in Chatlandia. You guys do a great job. You do a really great job. So we'll be back here tomorrow. And let me give you the schedule for the next couple of days. I'll be doing a show tomorrow. I will not be doing a show on Thursday. And I will be doing a show on Friday. We'll do Friday Forecast on Friday. So show tomorrow, no show on Thursday, show on Friday, Sunday Night Astro Live over on the other channel, and then we're taking off. I will be taking the 21st roughly through the 27th off, unless something really crazy happens, in which case I will do a show. Okay? All right. Use your head in order to discern what's real, your heart to say what's possible. Thank you for being here. Thank you for waiting through this. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your discernment. Hold the line. Take care.